and also knowing the fact that you don't know it all, and that's okay. I don't think there's anybody in the room who kind of would know it all, but I think we just go with this assumption that I need to know what I'm doing 100%. When you go in at a networking event, you also understand that you're learning so much more than just kind of sharing, right, about what you know. So it's a two-way street, honestly, and that mindset change really went a long way in helping me open up even about things I didn't know. So yeah.
Understood. So moving on to Tejvi, the same question to you. What particular challenge have you faced as a woman entrepreneur while networking?
Honestly, I completely agree to what I think Chaitali said, because I remember walking in a room and I was dealing with, I had to network, okay? So I was dealing with men who were good 30, 40s and successful businesses. So I was so intimidated at the start that how do I just approach? Are they even going to find me worth what I'm going to, talk to them about? So, started with, a very underconfident approach. And also the numbers are huge, okay, when you're getting into a networking event like that, like initial stages. And I think there were 2 to 3 females with respect to like good amount of men, so little bit of hesitation is there. That's one thing, and I think that is where I exactly learned that networking does not happen when there is hesitation. You cannot hesitate, when you have to network. You need to stand up, you need to go, you need to put yourself out there. And just talk. I think they are just humans. They're going to listen to you. Like, least they would do is judge you in their mind, but not in front of you. So just go, put yourself out there.
Okay. So this particular challenge that you're talking about, I would call it, initial cold feet or teething problems. Do you think something that you changed in your mindset helped you overcome this?
Like, the biggest breakthrough came when I stopped asking, like, I stopped thinking that I have to, ask for a seat at this table. It changed when I started thinking that I have to make my own space here. I need to prove, I need to show what I am, like, talk about my business, genuinely talk about things that I have achieved so far, in order to just make the person realize that, yeah, possibly, she has something within her to, prove herself.
Is everyone able to hear Tejvi properly? Okay, she dropped. So no worries. While we wait for her to resume, Rashmi, same question to you.
Go to webinar suddenly was misbehaving. Same
No
question
worries,
to me. Do you want to, since I see Tejvi is back, do you want Tejvi to finish her?
Yeah, Tejvi, I think there was some network glitch that we faced. We missed the last part of your answer.
Yeah, so I think I just want to conclude it by saying that just don't hesitate. Just go out there and put yourself out of your comfort zone and, go for it. You've got this.
So the golden nugget is you have to move out of your comfort zone when you're networking.
Understood. I guess, yes, 100%. 100%.
Understood. So, Rashmi, again, the same question to you. Biggest challenge that you have faced as a woman entrepreneur while networking?
So this is an interesting one for me, right? Because the sector that I belong in, which is the creative sector, by nature is very open. It is network driven. It's a part of the gig economy. So you have to talk to artists, you have to talk to creative institutions in order to understand even what's going on, because there is a lot of ambiguity and there's a lot of ongoing and upcoming pieces of knowledge that you only get access to as you understand how people are thinking. They're thinking and creating at the same time. So by nature, the sector demands that you become a better networker. And given that context, it's has been reasonably easy for me to network within my ecosystem. And I actually did think about this question quite a bit when it came to me. My biggest challenge has been being the only woman in a room full of men. And that's not because I'm the only woman in a room full of men and I don't know what to say. It's because they don't know what to say. They often don't know how to include you. The jokes are very much about, it could go anywhere from sport to workouts to whatever have you. And somehow they don't have a frame of reference to figure out how to include you and engage you in the conversation. So you have to be the one working harder in those conversations. You have to be the one, making them uncomfortable if they say things that are not palatable, because, for them, it's a safe space to say whatever is palatable for them, right? So it's kind of interesting how that plays out. I usually enjoy it, but it's hard. It's hard work.
That's actually the best answer I have heard for this question in a long time. Again, I understand that you would have had some mindset changes early on when you were developing this kind of killer strategy for networking. So
Not a
what were those changes that you did?
cutting you off because I have an answer. It's not a mindset change. I was like, that you can't have more women in a room that is not set up by you. So we decided to set up our own rooms. We run a conference called CultureCon, which is actually happening in August. It's a creative sector conference, which brings careers, creativity, and the business of arts together. And we make sure, for instance, there are no manuals. There are conversations where there's gender balance. There is EDI as a co-principal of our conference. I know because Soumya was there last year, so I know that she can attest to the fact that it's quite a mixed group. We have actually I think last time we had about 48.5% women and about 52.5% men. So it's reasonably balanced even in the room. We bring up conversations where gender and inclusion is at intersections. Like we'll never have a conversation on women in the arts, for instance, because that is, for me, it's automatically exclusionary. So having conversations, having structures and systems where inclusion is an integral part of those systems. So that's what we do. And then we advocate for more inclusion in other spaces that we're in. I was at a conference about 2 months ago. I won't name and shame them, but there were like 8 men on a panel. And we kept talking about how ridiculous that is. But we know that things are not going to change there. So we need to make the moves to change the realities that we operate in. So that's what we do. Take action.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. So basically, the golden nugget is you started creating your own room. That is the change you brought in.
Yeah. You must build the worlds you want to inhabit.
Very nice. Lastly, Shruti, the same question to you: that how or what are the challenges that you faced early on as a woman entrepreneur when you were networking?
So a lovely talk hearing by Rashmi, Chaitali, Soumya, and Tajreju, actually reflecting onto everything that they've said. I 100% agree with, and have been in instances with everything that they have been through as well, right? I've been in a room where there's all men on the table, and just me being, my personal journey was I traveled to another country, first in the family in the US, and I was in the manufacturing field. I studied mechanical engineering, and I was the youngest Indian woman in the room full of white old men, and it was a very daunting at first because at first I didn't know any of the references. What, as Rashmi said, of course, in a different country, it's absolutely a different ball game itself. So figuring that out and being bold is what I learned throughout the process, and giving yourself a chance and valuing your own time and energy and your thoughts is the key thing that has been a mind shift change as well in that process. Is valuing yourself and what you have to offer on the table. Is you have to value that yourself first, and then you're able to be bold and speak it out there, so that you are able to get a chance to speak the next time as well, and you've make yourself a chair on that table. That was the process that I had been through myself.
Okay, so while you have covered it in your answer, I would still want one golden nugget for the audience. That what is that one line advice that you would say helped you or made the networking thing easy for you? The golden nugget.
So I would say network is net worth, as we've all heard of that, right? Making sure you speak out and approach in person as well as online has been the biggest game changing factor for me, is because approaching to the other person myself has been a game changer rather than waiting for the opportunities to come. uh, Heading them out first is what I would say has been a change. Being a shy person to being out there, even I went through my own tomboy phase to be in one of the places where all the guys have to make sure that I align with them. I used to play football to make sure that I am being in one of them and to understand the mindset. But being bold is the key, whether it be a man or a woman.
Correct. Correct. Actually, this topic brings me to my first question directed towards you, Soumya. Like Tejvi also mentioned, she faced the problem of hesitation early on, and like how Rashmi and Shruti also kind of echoed the same thought. Chaitali also touched upon this exact same problem.
Yeah.
What is the one advice, or what is your piece of brain that you would want other women entrepreneurs to know, that how can they cope up with the initial hesitation, or what would be the process behind it?
Sure, thanks for that. And that's very interesting, I would say. So I'd actually again go back and ask, why are you hesitant? Okay. Is it because, it feels daunting? And as Tejvi mentioned, there is this pressure to come across as someone who will be valued or has something interesting or important to say. But really, you know what? If you don't have something important to say, you can always be a good listener, right? So actually, and so I think just let's go back to the hesitation piece. What is making you hesitate? If it is about not having something important to say, for example, remember you can be a good listener. If you feel that you are very new in this space and you haven't met people, then it's a wonderful opportunity to just go out there and introduce yourself and be like this child in a candy shop, right? In fact, now that I've been networking for over a year because of my business, I think our first reaction, and I'm sure many of you would relate to it, is wow, it's so inspiring to hear all of you or meet all of you and learn what you're doing. So I think that is the perspective we should go in with, that it is an opportunity to learn, imbibe, get ideas, okay, bounce your ideas off other people and get feedback, and not take it as one where we have to exchange cards. Absolutely not. It's supposed to build. The intent of networking is to build a community where you can fall back on. And importantly, you can be someone who can add value to others, right? Whether it is remembering, okay, you met someone somewhere, and then you met someone else who probably needs something that the first person has to offer, right? So it is a two-way street, and all of us can be those who can connect people with opportunities. So as long as we keep that in mind and completely remove the part that it is about how many people you met that day, trust me, I've seen it. If we try to do that, we are barely going to remember what they did, what they had said, and that's a real challenge. I'm sure you'll agree. It's okay to meet just a few people when you're out there to network, but make sure to have deep, meaningful conversations which actually start from a place of genuine interest, and not just like I said, make sure that they have your number and you have theirs.
Thanks for the throwing the light on that. The biggest takeaway from this particular answer for me is that when you're networking, you're like a child in the candy shop. Be curious.
Yes.
So thanks a lot for that answer. Chaitali, I'm directing my next question to you. Is some of the do's and don'ts of networking, and any example that you could give from your experience. How has a do landed you something good, and how has a don't costed you something good?
Okay. So thanks for that, Tanish. So do's and don'ts, I think, I mean, there are of course a few standard do's of, how you should be dressed, or, like carry your business cards, etc., etc. But I think most importantly, the do's for me is make sure that you've, you've just carried your confidence with you. You've kind of you have a smile on your face. And like Soumya said, you honestly, when you enter a room with curiosity in your mind and just wanting to know and talk to the people out there, and have this goal of trying to kind of establish real relationships with real people. I think that's the biggest do in my head. I've never looked at a networking as a transactional relationship. I've never seen it as, oh, let me go talk to people and earn some customers. It's always been about how can I go out there, meet these wonderful people who are either running a business or doing something extraordinary, and how can I truly connect with them as humans. And then we can see what happens next. Whether or not that relationship transacts into business or not is secondary. But are you able to establish that meaningful relationship is what is the key, and the most important do for me. The don'ts would be that you're entering a networking room just talking about what you do all the time, or trying to kind of just sell a pitch to that. I think again the idea is that I don't think you need to really oversell yourself. Of course, talk about what you do, be confident, express yourself, but don't overdo it. The other don't is, a lot of times we mentally switch off very easily. I don't know if that's true for all of you, but we don't tend to be good listeners. When you kind of meet someone who's running a business which is probably not of interest to you, you're just nodding your head, but you're mentally away. I think that shows. You have to be genuinely interested in what the other person does and genuinely listen to what the person does, because even if you don't relate, I'm sure you'll be able to relate a little bit to what, and where that person is coming from. So that kind of empathy really shows. So do try to be present in the moment. And I think as a follow-up question, I think Tanishq, you would asked what did I don't. Can you just repeat that bit?
I was trying to get any real life experiences from you that a do would have landed you something or a don't would have costed you something.
So I've met wonderful people, honestly, Tanishq, at networking events. Soumya was is testament to how we met at a networking event, where both of us we were visitors, and now look at where we've kind of come in our journey. And I've also met like the guy I work with very closely who's in the production team. So I think you never really know who you are meeting. And there are a lot of examples, honestly, of people have like really, really become my friends, because when you leave a corporate world, you're leaving behind a lot of like people who you used to see every day. You're not sharing tiffins, you're not talking about how Sunday went, etc. You need that group around you who you can text for things that are not related to business, not related to work. And finding those people are also important for you. Like developing that inner circle is also equally important for a woman entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is an extremely lonely journey for me. At least, as a woman entrepreneur, I can say that it is lonely, right? Because you're kind of really in your own world sometimes. Yeah, I mean, those are all the examples. And more than the don'ts, I think let's just focus on the do's. Like if you just do that, because if you do really focus on what you should not do, I think you're just really like, stressing over what you should not do. So having, just like get into the round, just, do the best you can, and establish those relationships and walk away. That's all.
Got it. So the learning that I took away from this answer is कि do's इतने ज़्यादा हैं, don't का option बचता नहीं है.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Now I have an interesting one for you, Tejvi, and this is a question that I personally have an interest in, because initially when a couple of years back when I started networking, I always thought of networking as something that is a room full of people. You go there and you talk to them. And I was always a little social media shy. But given the digital advent, the marketing that is happening digitally, customer acquisition that is happening digitally, and all of our businesses which are technology driven, so more or less our customers are also getting onboarded with us through technology and digital means. So what would networking mean in a digital context? Is social media networking also as good as, in-person brick and mortar networking? And if yes, what are a few modes where you can actually network through your social media handles?
So I think what I till now my takeaway from Soumya and Chaitali is to actually not focus on the don'ts and be a good listener. This similar pattern I would connect it with social media as well. What happens is we think that why would she want to see me achieving something? But technically, people on social media, people are actually listening. On social media, people are actually seeing. So, more and more, you put yourself out there on your social media. You are promoting what you do, what things that you are interested in, and you are indirectly, attracting a lot of people to connect with you. Of course, when LinkedIn is one of the best examples, and I think all of us here knows the power of LinkedIn. However, I just want to correct a way that what happens is generally people they just start networking with everyone they feel okay. There are certain 20 plus requests. Okay, let me just accept most of them, like 90% of them. I just feel filter things out. Try to accept requests of the people you genuinely know first. Second, people who are in your industry, who are going to help you build within your industry, or people you think will eventually add value to yourself. So this is one of the very insightful thing that I eventually learned. So don't just send connection requests. Make sure you engage with them, engage with your posts, comment thoughtfully. You reach out with a purpose because it helped me connect with investors. It helped me connect with collaborators. It even helped me connect with a lot of mentors. One very good example I really want to talk about this was I put out myself a lot on social media about what things I do. Randomly, I got a DM request from someone who just some XYZ girl, and she asked me that can I get a 15 minutes to talk with you on a call. Honestly, I was just wondering why is a stranger just texting me out of nowhere, not giving me any context. But I went about it. I just said, yes, let's do this. When I spoke to her, she introduced me saying that, hi, I am a journalist at so and so firm, and I wanted to write an article about this particular thing, which had some relation to do with social media management. Had it been if I didn't engage with it, I was losing an opportunity, not her, because she has a lot of people who have a similar background as me, but I might not find someone who would want to feature me. So I think this is the power of social media. Like, of course, there are a lot of disadvantages with it, but if you use this rightly, you're going to eventually find, the right people. You're eventually going to start building right relationships.
Okay. I will stay with this answer a little longer and prod into a little deeper with what Chaitali just mentioned. You need to genuinely be interested and not actually network with everyone, but focus on a couple of them, have deep conversation, build a good network. So we understand from that deepening a network is equally necessary as expanding a network is. So, like what you mentioned right now, explains to me how social media can aid in expanding a network. But can it also help in deepening a network? Can digital storytelling or my social media posts actually help me build a good rapport with my network?
Uh, this interestingly recalls me something. I recently attended the summit, Wave Summit, that happened at Geo Conventional. It was one of the largest summits for someone in entertainment and media industry, and there were speakers, and the speakers were from this very big firm and Landor, and we had the official brand manager who was at the global level speaking about this with us. Eventually, I just put out a story, that insightful session, and I tagged her on the story. I tagged both the speakers. You won't believe they started following me. This is how we just started the connection. This is the first stage, okay? And now, there's just a connection built. I've started putting more of what I do about my business on my stories. And right now she's actually helping me with, how can I get better? Because she's into branding. She's a brand manager for this firm called Landor. And I think she's at a very good position for a young person like me to help me with what could I possibly do. Trust me, we don't know. We didn't even talk on the day of the seminar, but I think it's just how, things started building. So I feel connections can become stronger provided you are also reciprocating. Like, just connecting wouldn't make sense, but try to engage with them, try to genuine feedbacks. Like, it shouldn't also be something that's coming out of oh, hi, this is really nice. No, just say something that you really like about that post or about that person or something that you find inspiring.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So digitally telling your own story digitally would also help you deepen your network. That is my takeaway. Okay. Okay. Moving on to something that is completely on a different plane than this particular digital thing. Rashmi, do you think offline events and community networking shapes a business's journey or an entrepreneur's journey? And if yes, what are the core areas that it adds on to?
Without a doubt, it does. I think I fully endorse in-person meets, face-to-face connections. What digital gives, it gives you reach. It allows you to go beyond geographical limitations and connect with people beyond that. But even today, nothing can replace face-to-face connections. You are able to sort of have deeper conversations if you meet them in person. It can go in all different directions. So yes, I fully endorse, physical meeting points and in-person connections. Now, how that happens, what are the channels for those? It could be, you've met someone on the flight. It could be a structured conference where you meet people and there you have to perform networkingly, so to speak. It could also be a connection someone has made for you, either online or in person, and then you go ahead and take that conversation. So yes, nothing ever replaces the in-person connection. I'll give you an example of how it worked for me once when I was starting Artex about 8 years ago. I had just come back from my master's, and I still had this idea of what we wanted to do with the organization. We had not even verbalized it. We not even put it down. Even the company wasn't established, and I ended up going to this opening of this art event, and I met the curator there, and we had a common connection because he was from the UK, and we were talking about what he was doing, and he asked me about what am I going to do now that I've come back. And I was giving him an idea of what we wanted to build, and he said, "Oh, we're looking for someone exactly like that." And I remember telling him that I'd love to do it, but I've never done this before in this context because I've just come back. While I have the background and the experience to deliver something like this, you would be taking a chance. And he said yes. That's how we got our first project before the company was even inked, so to speak, right? So I don't think you have that conversation, and there's an instinct of trust that you develop about the person as you're talking to them, and that instinct is what to me gets you the long way home, so to speak. So yeah, I don't know if I fully answered your question, Tanish. It was.
Yes, you did somewhat answer my question. But this brings me to a follow-up question. You mentioned two separate areas of physical networking. One is a dedicated networking room or event, which is a dedicated space and everyone is coming with the agenda to network with each other. And second is the example that you gave was, meeting while traveling. So these are coincidental network tie-ups. Which of the two do you feel would be more genuine and would tend to yield more result?
That's a hard one. No, it really depends on the kind of event that you're in. Like I explained, right? If I'm in a room full of men, even though the industry conference is relevant, it may not actually unearth the kind of connections that I would make in a setup that maybe ESME puts out with a room full of women entrepreneurs. So I think it is context dependent. I don't think you can compare the two. But what I can say is, and here is where I'll echo both Chaitali and Tejvi about talking about meaningful connections. And meaningful connections is not about directly asking what you do. In fact, that's a question I hate. Even in structured networking sessions, I will avoid asking that question as much as possible. But asking questions about, like, what are the biggest challenges that you're dealing with in your work right now? Or what is it that what you found interesting about the panelist who spoke, right? Or something about an industry trend where you can connect. I think going beyond the what you do question will help draw out those connection points that go beyond transaction. That is where I feel, whether it's in person or through other modes, connections deepen. Also, just to again mirror some of what Chaitali and Tejvi have, they've already answered. I don't know why I'm repeating myself, but essentially, I think just to be able to talk about yourself, and not in a narcissistic way, but more about like what you do and why is it that you are so driven. What are your passion points? That is what also attracts people, because you're forgetting that there's some curiosity on the other side as well. As curious as you are, you have to respond to that curiosity, not by way of having to, but that's you would love to talk about your work if you are in a place, and if you can find that shared passion through that curiosity, that also opens up very interesting pathways of connections. And I think one other thing that okay, I'll hold on to the last thought, but if you have any follow up on this, Tanishq.
No. Please go on. Please go on.
Just in terms of deepening connections, I think I would just say that once you've made the connection, we often tend to again keep it transactional to the extent of work, but it's always a good idea to reach out to people in their difficult times, and that's sometimes visible online and sometimes it's not. I have often seen that translate in very interesting ways, whether it's you've met someone from another country and that country is going through some trouble right now. For instance, I mean, I'm sure most of you know about the Israel attacks on Iran at the moment. So reaching out to folks in that country, friends that you have, colleagues and peers that you have, reaching out to people when you read some personal news about them online, or as most of us did during COVID, we reached out to each other. Those did develop deeper connections, I'm sure, for all of us, right? Because we needed that support at that point of time. So I think, as Moro said, it might sound, it always helps to support people when they are seeking support, but may not have the bandwidth to reach out, and they may not even know where help, where ideal help comes from. Is a good way to deepen connections and conversations.
Got it. Thanks a lot for the answer. Shruti, my question to you is something that is really different from the first answer that you gave us about your international experiences of networking. If there is a woman entrepreneur in the background of a tier 2 or tier 3 city of our country, what do you think would be a good way for them to network around?
It's a good pivotal question, actually, Tanishq. Actually moved from the US to India, and I'm living in a tier 2 and 3 in between city right now. You might not have heard of Gandhidham, Gujarat. It is in the district of Kutch. I'm remotely closer to Pakistan more than India. I'm in India, but very close to Pakistan. So I closely relate, and I have started my business from a tier 2 city. So I can completely relate to what your difficulty you're asking about. So to genuinely answer that question, taking advantage of what Rashmi and Tejvi said, I would say combination of both of them can be a powerful mix of how you would approach this. So in a smaller city, typically there are prominent families or prominent networking groups where many of them know each other. It's a smaller city. Many of the people know each other indirectly, directly. Many of the school friends are still there in the same city, right? Leverage that connection in terms of word of mouth marketing or connection building or networking, I would say would be key in terms of not only social media, would be a combination of LinkedIn, social media, of course, but making that network in person, of leveraging the community within your city would be extremely pivotal. Like there are communities like BNI, and there's online communities like Aspire for Her or Entrepreneury, or there are many women groups that are out there that you can reach out to, who are digitally available, as well as help you in understand business and leverage your network in terms of incubators as well. So being in a tier 2 city, leveraging the digital network that we have now would be a deadly combination, because you're actually talking to people in Jaipur, Delhi, and Bangalore, and actually building a network and also doing transactions with them. And I would say, touching on to what Chaitali said, is be genuinely interested in what they have to say, not just a transactional basis, right? Just to build a network in terms of, hey, if you're visiting Bangalore, do come by, we'll have a coffee sometime. Just be genuinely interested in what they have to say. And so there are a lot of drawbacks to a tier 2 and tier 3 city as well. Like there are mobility challenges, there are resources challenges as well. But there is good things in a tier 2 and a tier 3 city as well, because there is a lot of people who want to move to a bigger city because of opportunities. So leveraging that talent within a tier 2 and tier 3 city would be great, because operational costs are low. There is the human resource capital is low in terms of living in a city. Just general expenses are low in terms of operating your business. So leveraging that in your favor would be better to a network, and obviously a combination of LinkedIn and social media.
Got it. A follow-up question on this. You mentioned about there being business communities, business networking communities available digitally that can support you. Do you think local communities which are not very business focused also do show support and become the part of an ecosystem as an entrepreneur, which ecosystem you can leverage on, and that kind of support actually is available in tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well?
Yes, definitely. I think there's a lot of word of mouth marketing that you can leverage, like I mentioned. But there is a small pop-up if you have like a product-based or a service-based. Service-based would really work here. But if you have a product-based business, you can participate in pop-ups where you meet with other entrepreneurs who are locally available. And once you do that with your local team, you can collaborate and form your own events and form your own networking opportunities of your own. And in I would say this applies more in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, because there is a lot of more challenges in terms of family support as well, because very conservative as compared to tier 1 cities, tier 2 and tier 3 households are. So overcoming that challenge and leveraging your own women network within would be empowering. For example, I love to say that one example that from my own personal experience, once I've started to talk about what my journey has been with NutriCastle, the women in my community, like my own society, we have buildings of 50, 60 people. So, and once they got to know about that I've started a business, they came and reached out to me without letting their family know that, hey, how can I start a business? And it's not just about me doing something on the side. I want to do something fruitful of my own. It's not like I don't have money, but I want to do something of my own. So once you build that network, people actually reach out to you and see you as like the torchbearer as well, and you actually are indirectly motivating them to do so as well. And so word of mouth would be the biggest one, I would say, for tier 2.
So the quick fire word of mouth is the best support that tier 2s and 3s give you. That is the golden nugget that I take from this. And as we have it, time really flies when you're talking to interesting people. We are already very near the end of our allocated time. So I'll do one thing. I'll go around, have a quick fire one-liner round with all of you. What is the one-line advice that you would give to fellow women or fellow entrepreneurs? One-line advice that you would give to fellow women or fellow entrepreneurs. We'll start with you, Shruti.
So I'm sorry, I kind of missed the question. So can you repeat, please?
One-line advice to fellow women or fellow entrepreneurs.
Okay, I would say be bold Don't look at networking as a transaction. Look at it as a relationship. Even if you're talking to salespeople or your purchase manager or whoever you want to have business with, build a relationship with them, and that lasts fruitful.
Okay. So be bold is the one line advice that
Yes.
you would want to give. Your one line advice to fellow women or entrepreneurs, Rashmi?
It will be a little more than one line, I'm sorry, because I do have thought about this quite a bit. That moving away from the transaction, and the framework that I often use is the framework of the gift economy, which is thinking of offering your connection as a gift, but without expecting anything in return. And I've used that very successfully over the years, in a way of thinking about why you make connections. You get the sense of like ickiness sometimes, when you're just exchanging business cards and what is this going to lead up to. But when you think of it as something that you're giving to the world because you have a lot to offer, and eventually something will come back to you because you've given something out. It could be a piece of advice you've given someone. It could be a year that you've lent someone. It could be a business deal that you've made with them or a connection that you have made for them. I think offering it without expectation is a way to think about networking, which has always helped me. And when I've advised people on that, it seems to have helped them as well. So gift economy is my advice.
Got it. Again, quick fire, one line advice from you, Tejvi.
Cutting it short, you don't just by soft emailing or soft texting, you're not going to land a good network for you, good connections for you. You need to know the person, and you also need that person to know you in depth to build a stronger connection. So work on that rather than just focusing on pitch decks or promoting your business. So building meaningful connections, as I think I'm covering the point that everyone have mentioned some or the other way.
Got it. Chetari, one line advice from you.
I would say build your network before you actually need it to. Don't wait that I will start my business and then I will start networking. Talk about it, even if it's just an idea. Hear your thoughts from another perspective. That will give you a lot more clarity. So that's my piece of advice.
Build your network before you build your business. That's a good one. Soumya, one line advice from you. Soumya, I think you're on mute. No, you're not audible. No worries. By the time Soumya figures out what is holding up her mic, we have a few questions from the audience that I would want to take up. First question is for you, Rashmi. Many women, like you mentioned, feel intimidated or are out of place in a male-dominated networking space. How do you navigate that? That question is from Prerna Bindra.
Thank you for that question. I think you just have to be yourself and recognize that there will be limitations in a room, like I said, full of men. But as everybody else has said, just bring your genuine self to the conversation, keep it professional, and I would strongly advise power dressing. That always helps, and power dressing to whatever works for you. Like for me, I remember I used to work in a art center which also had a lot of very old men, and I realized when I switched to wearing a sari, it changed the way they looked at me. So that was the first time I recognized the power of dressing. So, one of the something that I always advise is work to your strengths. Don't work to your don't focus on someone else's strengths. So your strength as a woman could be the way you speak, the way you present yourself, the fact that you can hold a room because you have a voice that's not bassy sometimes. It could be a higher pitched voice. So work on your strengths, and that will allow you to sort of hold the room in ways that some men never can. Yeah.
Got it. Power dressing is the cherry on the top, you can say.
Yeah. One of the takeaways.
Question for you, Shruti, from Shreya is, after a meeting at an networking event, webinar, seminar, or a mixer, how do you follow up without sounding pushy?
Uh, Whenever you've had a conversation with them, during the conversation, you find some key points that you actually listen to the person and follow up on that, saying, "Hey, I hope you reached home well. I hope your travel journey was okay." If they mention something personal, I would say would be the key in terms of customized approach, not a copy and paste answer. I would say that'll be personalized,
Okay.
depending
So
on.
instead of mass mailing or a standard follow-up mail, you should actually put out a very focused and personalized thing, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay,
And
got it.
thanks to them genuinely, because one thank you letter lands you a job opportunity as well, right? So just thank you to them genuinely. Yeah, that's all.
Got it. Thanking them is also important. Question from Krisha to you, Tejvi, is how should my first message look like when I DM someone I want to connect on LinkedIn or Instagram?
I feel if you don't know the person, try to give a good brief about you in probably two-liners that, "Hi, I'm Tejvi, founder of Diverse Media, and I'm reaching out to you with a context," because a lot of times people don't understand why the person has texted me. Like, just taking back to what I said, the journalist who mentioned me, had it been she had mentioned that she was a journalist, I would have been more prompt with the reply. So it's always good to mention who you are, what role you have, and what is the reason you've texted them. So that's a brief introduction, be it Instagram or LinkedIn.
Got it. Got it. Last question I have from the audience for you, Chaitali, is this question is from Shweta. Hi, I am just starting out as a woman entrepreneur with no network. What would be your first step if you were in my place?
I think I answered that when you asked that last question. Build your network before you build your business. Honestly, like just go out there, talk to people. Even if it's an idea, don't hesitate. No one's judging you. Honestly, just go out there, and you will realize that it gets a little less intimidating the second time, and then a little less the third time, and the fourth time there will be absolutely no intimidation. So just go out there, talk to people, and just do it. That's
Got it. Got it. Soumya, do we have your mic back?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you finally. So I have two questions for you. One is the one-line advice that you would want to give to fellow entrepreneurs or women.
Yes, so that'll be remember why you're doing what you're doing. Because when you do that, you're always able to summon with purpose the conversations that you're having, right? And you will always have something to share, some insights to glean from. So I would say, while it's said that, step out of your comfort zone, also remember what is your comfort zone, because you're the most powerful there.
Got it. Got it. I have one question for you from the audience as well. There is Kimaya asking, how do I filter through so many groups, both digital and physical, which are for networking, most feel spammy?
That's a wonderful question. And I think all of us have this thought somewhere or the other. There is no right answer, but there are top two tips. One, take feedback. Okay, so if communities are large enough, you will come across someone invariably who's part of it. So, I mean, we know BNI because there's so many of us around who are part of it. I'm personally part of Ladies Who Lead, which is out there. Research, you will get to know the kind of profile of the members that they have. So your own research, one. And second, try it out. Okay, attend maybe a session or two, see how it's curated. It's a very big thing right now to create communities, and it's a great thing, but not everything will work for everyone. So, like I said, top two tips: do some research, and second, try it out yourself.
Got it. Got it. So I think with this, we have already exceeded our allocated time. Last but not the least, I want to thank you all personally. I myself learned a lot from this particular session, and many tips that all of you gave are not just applicable for women, but for all the entrepreneurs alike. Removing the gender bias aside, There are challenges that entrepreneurs face which are similar, but obviously you as women entrepreneurs face these challenges on a larger scale and you have come out strong. I wish all the very best luck for all your businesses to flourish. And I myself am working in the government scheme domain and have a few top government schemes applicable for women-led businesses ready. If you all feel like any need of government side funding or bank side funding is required, please do reach out. So with that, I would like to thank you all.
Thank you so much, Tanish.
Thank
This
you
was
so much.
wonderful. Yes.
Thank you so
Tanish.
much, and thank you for some excellent work. Finished.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
were
Thank
so
you.
good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. I
Yes.
learned myself a lot too. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.